So temples were also the centers of learning. Then we come through two other structures in this area, that is Virupaksha. We have already studied from the beginning of the chapter that it was a form of Shiva, and Virupaksha was such a popular god over there that the kings, whenever any royal order was made, whenever any royal order was signed, it was signed in the name of Shri Virupaksha. Correct? So Shri Virupaksha, and the second stands for Vithala. Vithala, that is actually Vitthal god. He is the incarnation of Vishnu, and it is a common phenomena that he was worshipped in Maharashtra. And we are talking of the Vijayanagar kingdom, and Vijayanagar kingdom is in the area which is called Karnataka today. So how come this god is worshipped in Vijayanagar kingdom in the name of Vithala? Vitthal temples are there. The god Vishnu is worshipped over there. So this stands for the phenomena that these gods were popular in other regions, in other areas also. Apart from that, there is one more structure that we see, that is called pavilions. Pavilions were the structures about which I was just telling you, that these structures stands on the pillar, and on the pillar there is a massive structure. You can see NCERT pages 184, 185, pages 186, 187. All these images about which I am telling you, these have been given over there. Even we see a statue of Krishna Devaraya, and the statue of the Krishna Devaraya, it also stands in the form of in the mode, in the gesture of worshipping the god. So they used to connect themselves with the divine power. I told you, because they call themselves having the divine order to rule over the people. So three structures, 1 mark question, Virupaksha, then Vithala, and then we have pavilions. We also get through a chariot street here, chariot street, because in this structure we can see the wheels of the chariot. So the chariot wheel, you can see it in this way. Suppose this is a temple, and this is the way to get to the temple, and these are the gopurams. Gopuram, you know, the gateways, massive gateways were built. So here the shopkeepers, they lay down the stone slabs, and on these stone slabs they have shops. Even today when we go to the temples, when we enter the gateway, we see a lane, a line of shops, and the shopkeepers and the merchants, they are sitting over there to sell their products. There is a garden in the temple. Apart from the gopuram and the mandapas about which we have read, mandapa, that is where the worship is done and the deity is established, and gopurams, they are the gateways, because from the distance people could see that there stands a temple. You know that these temples were built. We have discussed that by these dynasties, Chalukyas, Cholas, temples were built. But again and again, whenever kings came up, they attached something into it, and they also got them repaired, as well as increased their heights or added something to it so as to make themselves popular. So more additions were there. Chariot street, your 1 mark question, then you can get it in 3 marks also. That what do you mean by the idea that was chariot street? It is in the form of the chariot, and it stands in the, it looks like a chariot when we look to it. So such remarkable pieces, pavilions, it was a new addition to the temples, that pillars are built, so many pillars, and a massive structure that the pillars are holding, that even in the sight, even when people look at it, it looks very beautiful. So such type of structures we get through. The historians, the archaeologists, because we have discussed that this empire we found in the form of ruins, in the form of remains. So it took lots of years, and it was a very painstaking work that was taken over by the officials of the East India Company, by the other historians and the archaeologists who studied it, went to these sites, the Vijayanagar kingdom, and when they saw that where to study, from where they have to start studying the sites. So So they decided for the mapping and surveying, as we have read in the planning of resources, we have read all this. So mapping and surveying, and then they gave all this valuable information to us. Correct? Then we will talk in your sixth topic of the chapter. We will talk of the Gopurams and the Mandapas. A bit we have read in the previous temples also. Here we must remember that these rulers of the Vijayanagar kingdom, they laid a lot of stress on the construction of the Gopurams. Lots of work, lots of time, lots of money was spent to signify these monuments, to signify the gateways, so as to make themselves superior as compared to the other kings. Now, in most of the temples, explicitly or implicitly, the deities, the images of the gods have been set up, and some of them, they are associated with the kings of that time. Correct? So a lot of stress was given on the Gopurams and the Mandapas, and these were the structures. Even today we get them in our temples. When we go to the temple, there are gateways, massive gateways are there in some of the temples. There is a mandapa, like mandap, it is a ceremonial place where the deities or the gods and goddesses, they have been placed, their images have been placed. So to study this, I was telling you that the historians, they have to do a lot of work. When they went to the site of the Vijayanagar kingdom, they divided the whole site into 25 squares. And after dividing it into 25 squares, 25 squares were further divided. And then taking a small area to study, because the whole area could not be studied at a time. It was very difficult to study because it was a massive empire and massive buildings about which we have discussed in this chapter. So they divided it into different squares. This is called mapping and surveying. Different maps were made. You can see in your NCERT which pages I have told you, up to 187. And these squares were studied again and again. It was again a very time consuming and a very laborious work. This is told to us in the form of descriptions that is very easy to understand. How can we forget the name of three other historians, three other people who cannot be forgotten to give us the information about the Vijayanagar Empire, about the Vijayanagar Kingdom? This is John Fritz, this is George Michel, and finally it is M.S. Nagaraja Rao. Your 1 mark question, or in your short answers, it is asked very frequently in board examination. So this information is given to us because the stones, the sculptures, the remains, they cannot tell us the true story. Such valuable information is given by these archaeologists and historians. Even then we have to question ourselves, do they speak correct? Do the monuments, the structures, the stones, the streets about which we have read, the bazaars of that time, the king's palaces, the shrines, the valuables about which we have read yesterday, the porcelain, etc., do they really speak true? But we cannot answer these questions. We can only question all these things with ourselves. We are totally dependent on the information given to us by all these historians, archaeologists, even the photographers, the epigraphist, about which I have told you, epigraphist who deciphered the inscriptions and the script of that time. The most popular script at that time, the most popular language was Kannada, and it is really painstaking and very laborious work to translate the works of that time into such a language which could be understood by us. And moreover, the culture from Maharashtra, the culture from different parts of the region of the country, because states which we have today, they were not there at that time. Means they were different territories were there. So mingling all these cultures into one, highlighting the Hindu culture, etc. Even we get through that when Rama Raya, when he plotted tricks against the kings, how the combined armies of Golconda, Bijapur, Ahmednagar, they defeated Ramaraya. These are the lessons given to us by history. When we study history, the lesson of Ramaraya, that if you play tricks, the three rulers of Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmednagar, they were united together, defeated. So this was a lesson for the other kings also to come, that such plots, such tricks would not go positively and they will be negative. So students, like this we complete this chapter today. Complete your notes. It was a very interesting and a very easy chapter for you. You only have to learn the names of the shrines, the different architectural skills of that time. The chapter was based on the architectural skills, on the monuments and shrines. Prepare your notes. We will meet again tomorrow with a new chapter for you, the 9th chapter, with great energy and enthusiasm. Till then, a goodbye.